Hello, hi, it's Liz here, and today we're going to do a page in the glue book. It's filling up nicely. Still love this one. and this is a bit of nonsense. And this one. So today we'll do these pages. I've prepped it a little bit. I glued the next two pages together because these are quite flimsy pages, and so I always glue two together to do the next two. And all I've simply done to prep it is I've just put some old from a dictionary and an old encyclopedia just round the edges. Well, quite a big border. So that's all I've done, just because that would be quite boring just to see me stick book page on to this, and a little bit of washi down the spine because it has started to come apart a little bit. Not in that page, but this page was starting to open a little bit, so I've put some broad washi just down the middle for a little bit extra strength. So let's get started. I've got my bits ready. I have a piece of scrapbook paper for a little bit of a easy background. There's a piece for that side and a piece here for this side. This is really cool paper. It's 49 in market. I think it's called Turquoise Collection. I think it might be turquoise and amber. I don't have the packaging any longer. The pieces of ephemera and whatnot I'm going to use are also 49 in market. I'm trying to use up some of the stash that I have from that make, because I've just last week bought a whole new batch. So really trying to empty the box. So just trying to think of how a nice background might look. I've got some things for the other side as well. You get a little cool frame and some more leaves, maybe just hanging down from the top there. Right, now let me explain what my focal point's going to be. I have this stamp. Let me show you this first. This is from Woodware. It's called Decorative Hare, and I stamped using my VersaFine ink pad because the pens I wanted to use, my ZIG ZIG Clean Colour Real Brush, are water based, and so you have to use an ink that's not going to run in when you use your colour. So that's going to be my focal point for this side of the page, because these two pages are going to represent the first day of spring, and we move the clocks forward here. So that's that stamp, Woodware. The other focal point is this little cute rabbit. I got two of these stamped images from my friend Barbie. I did the unboxing, I think it was last week, so if you want to see what she sent me a absolutely gorgeous box full of things, and I want to start using them. So I coloured the rabbit, the bunny rabbit. Again, Barbie told me she had stamped using the VersaFine, so that's cool. So that meant I could use the same pens to colour. So you can see how I coloured that in. And I want that one on this side. So two nice spring March hare, spring bunny focal points I thought were lovely. So I have my title, which is First Day of Spring, and I'm thinking if I can maybe put these somewhere here would be nice. Maybe overlapping a little bit, somehow like that. Just fiddle about a bit. Yeah, so the clocks get moved, and I have this to represent the clocks being moved this weekend. They get moved forward, so spring forward. So I've got 2 clocks, and now let me see, I've got a little butterfly for the middle there and there, which I thought was cute. And I've got a 3rd clock, because quite often I quite like things in 3s. So I thought maybe we would just tuck this clock somewhere in there. And I have another butterfly, maybe to be opposite this big one, we'll put it over here somewhere, maybe. And I have something else which has fallen on the floor. Oh, there we are. This little arrow I thought might be quite cool for the bunny to stand on, which just represents going forward into spring. So I think that's going to be my layout, and I think I'm quite happy with that. Let me show you. I stamped these on these labels using my alphabet stamp. These stamps. Again, although I'm not colouring that, I still just used my VersaFine because I think it's a really good ink pad to use to pick up the finer details. Right, so let's get gluing, as it's a glue book. So we'll just remove the things, maybe kind of in a semi-order that we're going to be gluing them. Right, I know this is upside down, but I don't mind that because I wanted this piece of coloured up the top, because if I put it like that, then that would be all covered. But I wanted the blue up the top, and I don't mind the writing being upside down, so don't be thinking, no, Liz, you're gluing that upside down. Right, let me just get my magazine, because I'm going to end up with glue everywhere if I don't do it on something. So just the usual, I go round the edges first and then do a squiggle in the middle. A lot of people not keen on the glue stick, but I find them quite good. I quite like them. So there we are. The next thing is this little frame, which I want just down past the edge a little bit. So yeah, so that's really good at getting to use up some of, well, one piece at least of Barbie's Happy Mail. I shall certainly get round to using more. So I just saw the bunny rabbit, and right away I was like, oh, I need to use that bunny. And I thought, right, this weekend the clocks get moved, and that means it will be lighter. It'll stay lighter at night. It will be daylight in the evening for a while. That will push that forward, and then it will be, now I want the bunny on top of that flower, yeah. We don't want to stick things down and then maybe want to put something behind it. Now I'm going to have to be very careful here. So it will be lighter in the morning and lighter at night. It will confuse the dog for a while, but that's fine. We'll just have them coming down from there. one. So we're off out this afternoon, well, at lunchtime. Hubby's away out just now to the shops to buy things for a picnic because this weather is still unusually nice here. We're having a run of early spring, summer days. I can't call them summer days, spring days, but it's absolutely gorgeous. So we want to, because Monday it's to go back to being a little bit cold again, because we aren't really quite there yet, but for some reason we're getting a nice spell of sunshine. Right, now let's see what we have to put on next. I want to put that under there a little bit, and then I want the arrow there. Now, have I got room for my... Yes, we'll just nudge that up a little bit. So that's fine, I've got plenty of room for everything. Let's get this down first. So yeah, so he's away out to get some goodies for a picnic, and then we're going to go to a park and sit on the park bench and have our picnic. We are going to go to Pollock Park, which is a park in Glasgow, just on the outskirts of Glasgow. There's a big old, it's not a castle, it's a stately home, that's it, that's the word. It's a stately home, Pollock House, stately home, and so you don't have to, you would pay if you wanted to go into the house, but just to go to the grounds and the park you don't have to pay, so that's good. You get to go and enjoy the green and the trees, and there's a river and it's lovely, and there's whatchamacallem, there's Highland cows in the grounds, so we'll see the Highland coos, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to that this afternoon. Hope he buys some nice things for the picnic, and we'll take the dog. She'll get some tidbits as well. And then we'll go for a walk around the grounds. It might be quite busy because of the nice day. And that works out quite well because that just touches that and brings that together. There we are. You see? Right, let's do the opposite page. So again, we want to kind of do this in order. So we'll lift off our little pieces. And the first thing that we need to get down is this piece of this might be a cheats way just to use one big bit of scrapbook paper, but you know, it doesn't matter, does it? It's just you who do whatever you want to do. If you like to collage lots of little pieces, sometimes that's a good way of doing it, and sometimes I think this is a good way of doing it. So it's really whatever you want to do, it's your book, isn't it? And I think seeing the little bit of old, mixing the old with the new stash works well. I do that quite often, mix the old with the new. I think, Yeah, it works. Right, and then we'll put this. Now, let's get roughly where this should go, because I want this here to be roughly the same level. I think I'm about right, actually. Yeah, because I want him to sit on this frame, because although, you know, this is just a glue book and it doesn't have to make sense at all, sometimes when there's characters, people, animals, you do want them to sort of sit on something. You don't want them to be floating. Sometimes you want them to be floating. Is that about equal? Yep, that'll do. Because this little bunny is sitting on the arrow. It doesn't have to make sense as long as they're sitting on something. So we'll have him sitting there. I've decided he's a him and she's a her. Yep, we'll put that about there. Just coming from the corner there. So all the daffodils are out. It's lovely. There's daffodils and little, is it little primulas and things, and some, we filled the tubs the other day from the garden centre, some winter pansies, and they're not summer bedding plants, they're ones that can withstand if we get a late frost, or these ones will do until we get the summer bedding plants in the tubs. So I think that was about there. There we are. Yeah. Bring them in a wee bit, I think. So we've got our clocks. Maybe put that butterfly there in that space. I did have it somewhere here, but I think there, now that I've moved him forward a little bit. And we've got our clocks. So let's see. Moving of the clock. I want to overlap them. And then I've got my, I'm sure, now there's a hole in the middle of these clocks, but I've hunted high and low to find maybe clock hands or something, but there's not anything, so maybe it's just a hole for you to put a brad in, or I think there. Yeah. So I don't know why there's a hole in the clock. Maybe there was hands and I've used them up. Maybe I used them for something else. Who knows? Right, we'll get this clock down first. And overlapping it from the edge there just takes away from this straight edge. Sometimes with the straight edges, when I'm using one big sheet, I'll put some washi tape or tear the washi so that you don't have a straight edge. But I think there's actually plenty going on with these pages that I'm happy that the straight edges are there. It doesn't bother me. I'll just put two butterflies in the middle of a clock, because as you do. Oh. I know butterflies are really common, but I you know why they're popular and common, because they're just really, really nice. They just seem to make a page and bring a page to life. You can see I stamped on the other side of this paper and it didn't quite, I didn't press enough. I hadn't had my porridge that day. So I just turned it over and stamped it again. And that was fine. Worked a second time. Right, and let's put him about there. And he's touching the clock, and he's touching the butterfly, and he's touching those leaves. So in my head that brings it all together. Now I have one last finishing touch, because I think it's good to date stamp things, because when you look back on your books you can think, oh, when was that I did that? And then you'll know that you did it on the 25th of March 2022. So let's give it a little date for future reference, and we'll just date it down here. There we are. And that's my 2 pages to commemorate the first day of spring, which I think was the other week, maybe last week, but this weekend is also the weekend the clocks get moved. So it's spring forward, the spring bunny and the March hare. And thanks Barbie. So if you want to check out Barbie's channel, it's Nellie and Ruth Designs. She makes some lovely things. Please go have a look. Yep. And if you've liked this video, a thumbs up would be brilliant, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.